Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Tiff and Tony Show.
Hey, good morning, Tiffany, and how are you doing? Welcome to the Tiff and Tony Show.
Hi, I am good. I am enjoying a beautiful day outside in the park with my dogs, who you can't see. They're kind of on the ground chilling. So I'm great. How are you?
I am wonderful, thank you. Yes. Now, before we go any further, I've got to say, you now have 2 dogs.
I do.
Because you rescued a puppy.
I did. We found each other. He was running on a little road, like in the road, and he did not appear to have a home. And he didn't have a tag. He didn't have a microchip. And my alternative was leaving him where I found him, which was not an option because I did not want him to get hit by a car. So I have adopted him. And so, yes, I now have 2 dogs, and one of them is a 12-week-old puppy. So
nice.
It's been all the fun things. Yes.
Sweet. Well, I'm glad you have a growing family.
Thank you. Very unexpected, and I would not have sought it out, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Right. And sometimes they're the best things that happen to us, for sure.
I agree. Yeah.
And so today I want to talk through another tool that we can use, and that's changing our thought pattern in situations. And so I want you just to think about the last 2 weeks. Give me a vexing moment, something that's happened that's kind of frustrated you, annoyed you, rubbed you up the wrong way, that you didn't handle too well.
Yeah. Okay, so I was hiking with before I had the puppy, I was hiking with my big dog, and he was off leash in a place that he was able to be off leash, and he's very friendly and loves to just go up to people, and he loves saying hi to other dogs. Well, these people were walking towards us, going the other direction on the trail. Their dog was not very nice, but the lady acknowledged, and he was on a leash, and he was small enough where she picked him up, and I just kind of had to make sure that my dog wasn't, he wasn't like bothering them. So I was calling him, and he was starting to come to me, and another woman that was hiking with them got upset at me and said that I needed to learn how to control my dog and that my dog wasn't friendly. And okay, I am the first person to take responsibility if my dog does something wrong. He did nothing wrong. He was being so sweet. Like it just like rubbed me the wrong way to my core. I was very angry, like in this small moment, and just in like mama mode, and just wanted to like defend my dog with the ultimate amount of justice. And I was practicing self-control, like, okay, Tiffany, like, don't say something just rude and mean. That's just not helpful. Because I know what it's like when maybe I've made a mistake and someone says something rude to me, and it's like, it's just not helpful. But I couldn't help it. As we were walking away, I was thinking about it and just feeling so angry. I'm like, well, then kind of under my breath, I said, well, then you just shouldn't have your dog out here on the trail, and it just was like, I walked away and it was fine, and they didn't get upset. It's just, but then I kind of felt bad afterwards, but then I didn't feel bad because I was like, at the same time, it's kind of true. Like, you're the one with a mean dog. Like, you just don't bring your dog on the trail. My dog's fine. So it was just such a tangible, like, quick to anger that I was like, wow, like I haven't felt that quick to anger in such a long time, and kind of had to think about it and process it after, like, why did it trigger such a strong response in me? And it's because I'm, defending my dog who did nothing wrong, and it just like hit this part of me that was, I don't know. I wish maybe I had responded differently. So walk me through the tool.
Yes. So first off, I could actually feel and see and hear that anger start to come back up right in this moment as you're replaying that story. So the situation we're looking at, or the event, which is an external happening. This is something that's happened that you have no control over, right? And so this is, we'll call the event Angry Dog Lady.
Okay.
We'll just label it as Angry Dog Lady.
Yeah.
So what was the thought that followed Angry Dog Lady?
Like I did nothing wrong. Like,
okay. Yeah, that's perfect. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. So Angry Dog Lady, the thought was, I did nothing wrong. And you actually said it as well when you left. Well, you shouldn't have taken your dog on the trail, right?
Yeah.
And then, so what emotion did that thought create?
Rage. Like
Rage.
almost rage, but that's a little
Yeah.
strong, but like almost rage of
Yeah,
like,
certainly anger.
yeah, anger. Yeah.
Yes. And so then what action follows kind of an anger, rage emotion?
Saying something rude in response. So like a vengeance almost.
Yeah.
Or
So lashing out, kind of.
yeah,
It's that lash
yeah,
out.
lashing
Right. And so what outcome does that give you?
out. Negative one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt negative about it. And granted, I don't know necessarily how the other person responded because we kind of parted ways, and luckily it didn't turn into a bit more of a conversation. But yeah, I mean, definitely a negative response. Like I felt kind of icky after, like, oh,
Yeah.
I wish I handled that differently.
Right. And so an outcome is actually not feeling great inside.
Yeah.
And so we've got an outside influence, we've got a thought, we've got an
Yep.
emotion, we've then got an action and an outcome. Right.
Yep.
And that process happens nearly everywhere we go in life. And typically the outcome then actually builds back into the thought, and we continue that cycle of kind of negativity, right? You said it, you felt icky, you were thinking afterwards, which meant you relived it. You
Yeah.
just shared the story, so you relived it again.
Yes.
And the body doesn't know that event was in the past. Because you just relived it, your body thinks that event is right now. And so if we've got an event that's happened to us when we were 10, that could still be affecting us today when we're 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever. Right. So what I want to do now is walk you through a process that might help. So the angry dog lady is always going to be the outside stimulation, right? Yeah. You're not happy with the outcome. So we've got to change something. What we really want to change is the emotion that you feel. So out of that situation, what emotion would you like to have felt?
Compassion.
Compassion. Brilliant. So now what thought would create compassion in that moment?
I'm sorry. I don't not necessarily an apology, because I still believe that I did nothing wrong, but sort of some form of acknowledging that, like, maybe she's having a bad day.
Right. So the thought could be, oh, poor lady, she could be having a bad day, which then leads to an emotion of compassion. What action does that lead to?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like that would lead to maybe me engaging in a conversation with them about, like, hi, I'm Tiffany. Like, let me find out a little bit more about you. I'm sorry that my dog maybe ran up to you and that might have felt uncomfortable. Like, how's your day going?
Brilliant. Great. What outcome does that give you?
It's definitely more positive. And instead of me walking away feeling angry and then feeling bad about the fact that I felt angry and then needing to process it after, it's, oh, I engaged in conversation with someone and now we're talking.
Sweet. So see how the outside stimulation doesn't change, but this whole thought process changing has actually helped kind of work through a different outcome. And we're talking about a random encounter on a trail. But for instance, it could be for me, the pandemic has changed pure game completely. We've had to reinvent ourselves. And so my thought could be, God, this is going to take so long, which actually creates that negative, frustrated emotion, which gives me an action of potentially withdrawing and pulling away, which gives me the outcome of not growing pure game anymore. Mm-hmm. So the pandemic's not gone away. We've still got to deal with that. And I've got to reinvent pure game within all of this. So my thinking could be, or I want to create a more confident emotion. So confident is the emotion that I want to create. So the thought is, excellent. This gives me a way to reinvent Pure Game, create a different revenue stream, which will actually help Pure Game grow and meet more kids.
Mm-hmm.
That then is the thought, which creates confidence. The outcome from confidence is actually my action is one of engaging and working hard, which gives me an outcome of growing Pure Game.
Yeah.
And so we can do it in any situation. And so it goes kind of the outside stimulation, and then it goes thought, emotion, action, outcome, right? So outside stimulation will always be the same. That whatever happens, happens.
Yes.
Then it's thought, emotion, action, outcome. And if
emotion, action, outcome.
Yeah, and so down below in the link, I'm actually going to list that out, and so you can actually see that, and it's a worksheet. And what I want the kids to understand is this is a worksheet for you to do almost every day, right? Where you can actually see something happening, and then you sit and work through this process. And the idea is be very honest with the initial thought process. Be very honest with that kind of negative stuff. And then when you work back, list out the original simulation, and then start with what emotion do you want to feel? What thought creates that emotion? And then list the other stuff. And I can tell you, when you least feel like doing it is the time to actually sit down and work through that process.
Yes.
It's a process that I've now used for the last almost year, actually. And in some of the toughest and hardest times, I've gone through this, and it's actually changed how I've approached and addressed work situations, family situations, coaching situations, whatever it is. I'm using this. It's a great tool. And like I said, I'm going to challenge you to use it as often as you can. Tiffany, any thoughts, input on that particular process?
Yes, I just want to encourage all of you, myself included, Tony, you as well, that maybe it could feel overwhelming to be like, well, Tony, you're this awesome mentor. You have so much more life experience. Of course, it's easy for you to maybe try out this new tool, and you've been doing it for a year, and you're just really good at it. And that feels kind of overwhelming for me. So I want to encourage myself, encourage everybody else. Try it. See how you feel. Think about it. Process it after if you want. And then if you do it again, do it again. And it's little by little. It doesn't have to be this cold turkey. You're committing forever to use this new tool. It's no, pull it out when you remember. Hopefully you remember to use it. If you kind of forget how to use it, that's okay too. And little by little, the more you use these tools, they start to become ingrained in you, and you no longer have to remember to reach inside your tool belt or your toolbox or whatever metaphorical place you keep these mental things, and they just start becoming how you interact with the world. So take the pressure off of yourself. We're not putting any pressure on you. There's no judgment. Like Tony said, be as honest as you can. As you go through this activity, there's no one judging you. This is for you. This is for you to grow and learn, grow internally, grow in how you interact with others. And we are here to support you. And if you ever have any questions, you can comment below the videos. Yes, you can always email Tiff and Tony at thepuregame.org if you have any questions. You can also leave comments below the videos, and we would love to support you. We are here to support you. And this has been such a great conversation.
Yes. And I will say, I've been doing it for almost a year now. But it wasn't something that came routine to me either. It was something I had to cognitively think about. And many times I forgot, and many times I didn't do it, and many times I struggled. And I was like, oh yeah, remember, I've got that thing, so I can start working through it. And so, yeah, it takes a long time to put this into practice, to the point where it's kind of second nature. So absolutely, no pressure, but try it. Tiffany said it, just try it. Try it once, see how it feels, because ultimately you'll feel a different emotion, and if we truly are able to create our own realities, the realities in which we live, that comes from actually changing our thinking, which will then ultimately change our emotions, which will ultimately change our actions. And that's what we're working on here, to try and do that.
Yes. And we can only control how we respond in a situation. We can't control the external events. So yes, try out these tools, and remember that you know what? Everybody's different. You might find a tool that's different than this one, or that you like even more. You might love this tool and recommend it to a friend, and the friend's kind of like, I don't know, maybe. So try it out. Find out what you like. Play around with different tools too in different situations, and you will start to learn which ones kind of stick with you and your personality and how you tend to just naturally interact with the world. And yes, we love to hear your stories of how these go for you as well. So share away on social media.
Perfect. Yes. Well, thank you very much. That's it from this week's Tiff and Tony show. We'll see you right back here in 2 weeks.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining Tony and me in this week's episode of the Tiff and Tony Show. We hope that you feel encouraged and that you feel more empowered by having another tool that you can add to your emotional and social mental toolbox. If you like what we do here at Pure Game, one of the best ways you can support us is by liking and sharing this video with your friends on social media. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel using the button directly below the video. And you can also donate on our website, www.thepuregame.org. And with that, we will see you right back here in 2 weeks.